So if we're taking a look at what USC has been about, it's not been a whole hell of a lot. And this is in a year in which many of us expect USC to purport itself like a top 25 program. Though we had not seen such a thing from them in 2023 through the second half of the season, you go through the portal and you trust Lincoln Riley to figure this thing out. You trust him to go raid other teams' rosters like he had done once before and got them to the Cotton Bowl with Caleb Williams as a Heisman Trophy winner. That's what we expected to happen. When he makes a decision to go with a quarterback, you give him the benefit of the doubt. You give him the benefit of the doubt because he was right about Baker Mayfield. He was right about Kyler Murray. He was right about Jalen Hurts. He's right about Caleb Williams. And now it looks like we found the first guy that he has gotten wrong since being a head coach, offensive play caller at the Power 5 level, Texas Tech notwithstanding, in Miller Moss, okay? Lincoln Riley pulled Spencer Rattler for Tanner Mordecai, and Rattler did a whole hell of a lot less than Miller Moss has done this season to earn the live at the Apollo hook from the Sandman, okay? Miller time needs a time out. At least that's what we think. That's what we think. But I don't think this is all Miller Moss's fault. I think this is all Lincoln Riley's fault. It's his guy. It was the guy that he decided to go with. It's the guy that he decided to choose. And now they've lost 5 games, and they are once again below 500 in a league that is very, very competitive and with a schedule that doesn't really let up for USC. That means for the second season in a row, we have seen USC lose 5 games, and now Lincoln Riley is looking more like 23-23 or 22-23. Forget which one we're going on with this, just in keeping with the 4 and the 5 here. Put in perspective, 18 teams are in the Big Ten, okay? The bottom 4 are USC, Maryland, Rutgers, and Purdue. In no world do we expect USC to be at the bottom of an 18-team league sitting at 14. You just don't expect to see that happen. And then we get to see what it is like for you to have a Mr. Wait Your Turn play quarterback for you. Like, that's one of the things that really gets on my nerves is when we have national broadcasters that want to point out that a guy waited his turn like you're supposed to. Like this is a merit-based business. It's not. It's a talent-based business. That's what it means. That's why you get paid. It's because you are more talented than others. It's because you want to play right away. And knowing that you want to play right away and that you're more talented than others, I ask this sincerely. If you're Julian Lewis, why are you sticking to your pledge at USC? You are one of the top prospects in the 2025 class. You have committed to USC for the better part of 16 months. You want to stick with that. You want to keep your word. But you have also seen USC not just be bad, but now have bad quarterback play. And that was the reason for which a quarterback should always want to play for Lincoln Riley. You know, there's maybe 5 other guys I could say that about. One of them is Steve Sarkisian at Texas. One of them is Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman, because he's going to just kind of let you do what you need to do. Another is Ryan Day at Ohio State. Another is Dan Lanning at Oregon, because he's going to let Will Stein do what he needs to do. You can go from there, right? We understand who is going to be producing quarterbacks in this 2025 NFL draft. But if you are JuJu and you have seen Miller Moss throw 3 interceptions in a game like he did in the loss against Washington, and you have seen USC take losses to teams that they shouldn't in games where the quarterback is throwing for 50, has 50 pass attempts, and you still don't have him in a great position to be a nationally recognized name for being great, why are you sticking with your pledge? I'm curious about this. I really am. I would like to know what they're thinking, because loyalty only comes from what you have done for me lately in college football. It's actually true across the board when we're talking about sports. Loyalty only gets you so far. What you have done in the past does not affect what you have done in the future. If you're watching the show, thank you for joining us. This is the #1 college football show. I am RJ Young. I'm your host. I'm not on a step mill. If you like the show, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're at 116,000 subscribers here, and I'd appreciate you joining us here. But it's about what I'm going to do for you in the future, right? It's that I'm going to be here tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and you can count on that. You can count on the quality of the program and what I'm going to provide for you in the way of analysis and storytelling and all these things you love about college football. If those things suddenly go away, or I no longer keep my word, or heaven forbid, I make one segment a week and I make something like 25 or something, you might go elsewhere. You would not stay committed to this show. Why would you? And I'm asking the same thing of JuJu. If you know you're Jaden Mayava, and you know that you won 9 games just last year at UNLV, and you transferred to USC, when Lincoln Riley gets asked, are we going to see you? And you say, no, we're still going to put out our best lineup. You got to start asking questions about how is it that I'm not a better quarterback than what you have out there in Miller Moss? I mean, I got more wins than this guy. I know how to find Kyron Hudson open and not throw the other team the ball. I know how to find Kyle Ford open and not throw other people the ball. I know this because I was throwing the football to Ricky White all of last year. And Ricky White would have been an All-American receiver had he been a Power 5 receiver when I was throwing passes to him because he was Mr. He all down there somewhere in the Mountain West. So JuJu has options. And he had narrowed those options to USC, who he's committed to, Indiana, who in June didn't look like nobody and now looks absolutely like somebody, and Colorado. You know Curtis Works probably on his way out at Indiana. You also know that Shedeur Sanders is most definitely out at Colorado. And you know that Miller Moss has another year of eligibility left because he's not going to get drafted this season. That's not in the cards for him based on what we have seen on tape. So I'm asking sincerely, what stops you from, I don't know, I'll take in Bloomington, when Ohio State goes to there, maybe, I don't know. I'll take in Bloomington maybe December when everything kind of comes to a little bit of a settle and we very much know what Indiana is and who they are going to be. I'll take in Bloomington because they're 9-0 for the first time ever. This guy, Kurt Cignetti, seems to know how to win football games. And they like to spread the ball around, and I like to spread the ball around, and I'm a glorified point guard out there. So what I do best, I get the ball to playmakers, and when the playmakers aren't there, I'll go get you a basket myself. Or I'll take in Colorado, who is very much on the come up, is very much staring down the Big 12 championship if only they win out and one or two things go their way. You know that you're going to get the national spotlight in Boulder because Prime is there. And that would be the only assurance that I would need. I would need Prime to tell me, hey, as long as you at Colorado, I'll be at Colorado. But I ain't going to be at Colorado if you ain't at Colorado. And if you get that, and I'm sure he would, you're going to show up. And then Prime got every reason to be out there because he's got another 5-star caliber quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is a 5-star caliber quarterback, even though he was a 4-star in high school, to come in and make it do what it do, baby. You're going to get skill players because skill players come to Prime. And they are slowly but surely building an offensive and defensive line that is capable of winning Big 12 championship, which is a Power 4 championship, which means you could slide into a Colorado that is very, very good at just the right time. So I'm asking this, why would JuJu stay committed to a place that looks like it's going to have a losing season? Like, I asked this question sincerely in the community tab on the channel, and you go check that out and give it your vote. But I asked, who would you rather see Georgia play in the college football playoff, right? And I'm thinking about Colorado. I'm thinking about Indiana. I'm thinking about BYU. I'm thinking about some programs that don't necessarily pop up on the radar. And on the Twitters, you can go check me out at RJ_Young. I asked a different question. It's a poll. I said, who do you think is going to get the bowl eligibility? Nebraska, USC, Oklahoma, none of the above. I never thought that I would be in a spot where I need to ask that question. Now, cue all the commenters who are going to ask me why OU sucks. Sure. Cue all the commenters that are going to say OU's terrible. All right. Now that you got that out your system, answer the damn question. Now, USC and Nebraska, they got to play each other. And both of them all of a sudden look terrible. Now, while you're going to make your jokes about Oklahoma got to win this year. It's Maine, but it's a win, right? Nebraska lost to UCLA. Okay? USC lost to Washington. All right? UCLA and Nebraska got to get their hooks into USC. That's one of the reasons I put it there. And I put it there because of the link of Lincoln Riley to Oklahoma, because it feels like that is the domino that started a lot of this. Nebraska and UCLA is something different, but not UCLA, not really, because you're thinking about Chip Kelly going to Ohio State, but you're also talking about Danton Lynn being defensive coordinator at UCLA, who's now the defensive coordinator at USC. And that was the thing that we thought he was going to fix. We thought, okay, Lincoln Riley decided that this guy is the one that he needs to coordinate his defense for his offense to go do what it does. And that doesn't seem to be the case either. It looks like defense is, for the most part, doing just fine. It's the offense that has a problem. It's the offensive line that has a problem. Those are Lincoln Riley problems. I mean, the whole program is his fault. That's his problem. It would be his legend if he had built them into the mecca of college football like he said he was going to. And that's why the Oklahoma link is there. It's like, hey, dog, Oklahoma has needed to win. Oklahoma has been the pro team for some time. At USC, you just another team. They got the Lakers. The Dodgers won the damn World Series. Anaheim is over there with the Los Angeles Angels. You got the Clippers in town. You got the Rams who have won a Super Bowl. You just somebody else in that city. Over here, it's all we think about. It's why people are losing their minds, because Oklahoma has to beat Missouri, Lord help us, to get to bowl eligibility. I'm saying that to say JuJu might not end up at Colorado, but I don't think he's going to end up at USC neither, especially if it keeps going the way it's going. Because think about this. You drop these games to UCLA, Nebraska, you still got Notre Dame on the schedule. And I don't think that Notre Dame is going to do you no favors. So you're looking at perhaps a losing season with Lincoln Riley as your head coach, which, as bad as Oklahoma might have been, was never, ever, ever on the radar, on the horizon. It was a good thing that was going on till somebody in the marriage decided they wanted a divorce, and now everybody's worse off for it. I think that is something we need to keep in context as we continue to talk about what USC is doing, what Oklahoma is doing, and definitely what Lincoln Riley does in the future. Because it wasn't that long ago that everybody tried to tell me that he was going to be Dallas Cowboys head coach. Now I don't even think he would want that job, because Dallas Cowboys, out here losing to the Falcons. Let me stop before I get on my Dallas Cowboys bandwagon right quick.